Welcome to the Price and Value Journey, the show where we as professional services providers explore the value we deliver to clients, how to price that value, and position our work, all through the lens of what I call the generosity mindset. I'm your host, John Ray. Have you wondered about the state of podcasts today? You might be surprised to learn that active podcasts are actually on the decline. Let me break it down for you. Back in June 2021, just over a year into the pandemic, there were about 755,000 active podcasts on Apple Podcasts. Fast forward to December of that same year, and that number had dropped to about 548,000. By January 2023, it had fallen even further to about 449,000. Now, as of June 2024, we've seen a slight uptick to about 460,000 active podcasts, but that's still a 39% drop from where we were about 3 years ago. So what's the story behind these numbers? Despite fewer active podcasts, listenership has been on the rise. That means that in 2024, there are more people listening to podcasts, but they have fewer shows to choose from compared to 3 years ago. This tells us a couple of things. First, when someone says there are too many podcasts, they're not seeing the full picture. Frankly, they don't really know what they're talking about. Second, starting a podcast is easy. It's like getting a new puppy. It's exciting. Everyone celebrates with you. But the real challenge is in the long haul, keeping that puppy trained and happy, or in this case, keeping your podcast going strong. Now, who benefits from the decline in active podcasts? Well, clearly it's the ones who stick with it. And that's true whether it's a newsletter, a video series, or even writing a book. Those who persevere will stand out. Your competition isn't the millions of podcasts that are out there. It's the relatively small number of active ones. I think back to when I climbed Mount Rainier. As the climb got tougher and the air got thinner, fewer people made it to the top. I was dead last in my group to get to the top, but it didn't matter. I was on top, along with just a handful of those who started the journey with me. Perseverance. That's the name of the game. Thank you for joining me on the Price and Value Journey. If you found this episode meaningful, please share it. And if you're so inclined, subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app. If you'd like to connect directly with me, you can email me at john@johnray.co. To learn more about my book, The Generosity Mindset, visit thegenerositymindset.com. Until next time, keep in mind that perseverance isn't about reaching the top first. It's about consistently creating value along the way.